G'day, I'm Frank Holden.
And I'm Don Bourke. I'm Michelle Pettigrew.
And welcome to Bourke's Backyard. We've got a great show for you tonight. For a start, we're going to have a look around our new house, which you can see behind us, and we've engaged a very good gardener to come and help advise us on the garden.
Except where is he?
That's what we'd like to know.
I actually do know where he is. He's in a house in Queen's Park in Sydney that was, I think it was inspired by a place in Mexico, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep, there's not a right angle in the whole place. Every colour under the sun. You've got to see it. The most beautiful house in Australia, apart from what this one is going to be eventually.
Also on the show, Jeff Jantz is going to cook us a rhubarb crumble, and we're going to road test Chesky Terriers. You know what a Chesky Terrier is?
No, but my imagination's working overtime.
One of those dogs that go, ow, ow, ow. All that and more, here's Don.
Oh, thank you very much, Frank and Michelle. They're good people, aren't they? They'll be here later on in the program, of course. Now, some of the other things that are on tonight's program, have you got one of those shady, horrible areas in the garden, don't know what to do, or we've got a makeover of that sort of problem? Also going to show you Cloud Hill. We've been looking at this over a number of years. This is a spectacular garden. It's in Victoria. It uses colour so well, and the works of art in it are absolutely unforgettable. Now, also, some private words here. My own personal recipe for lamb curry. I reckon it's the best curry I've ever tasted in my life. So I'll give that recipe a little bit later on. But right now, what I consider to be Australia's best house. If you're a regular viewer of Bourke's Backyard, you will probably remember when we did the Mexican program, a resort called Costa Corrales, the coast of the turtles. And that is probably the most spectacular resort anywhere in the world. Well, that resort inspired a building here in Australia. Now, it's owned by Isabel and Jack Clompay, and this really is, in my opinion, the best house I've seen anywhere in Australia. It is spectacular in its colours, incredible in the design, and one of the happiest and friendliest houses you will ever see. Well, what on earth inspired you two to be this courageous?
What inspired us? Well, you can see by the art we like modern stuff, so this had to be done this way. A bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of your program and a bit of things we've read and people we've met over the years. And I think this is really what the future's going to be anyhow, this type of style. When we saw your program, and everybody said, that's it. Not those identical colours, but we knew this had to be bright colours.
And inside, basically, you've coloured the walls just off-white and brought all your real effects with works of art.
Yeah. We couldn't do anything else, I don't think.
The bright colours, all the paintings are very bright and vibrant. People on the outside, it looks rather stark. But then when I step in, this is a sort of whole different world. And you come into the colour and the brightness and the openness.
Obviously, light and windows and all that are very, very important in this house.
Yeah. When you live in Australia, I mean, the climate is really superb compared to anywhere else in the world. Why not live with the light? Why not live with the openness?
A number of naughty works of art.
Yes. Well, naughty, what do you call naughty? They're more like toys. We call them our toys.
I suppose the thing that surprised me most is that the people who are older than 17 would actually come up with something as vibrant and young as this.
Well, you have to be young.
He taught me.
Stay young.
He taught me.
Even if you're old in years, it doesn't need to mean that you have to be old in behavior.
It's a pretty radical transformation from what was here originally.
Yes. I'd say half the block was garages, an old Federation at the front. So most of it was bulldozed. Oh gosh, it was really quite a hodgepodge. So it had to go.
I assume there was a very good architect involved in all of this.
Yes,
Yeah,
a young guy, you can tell.
A young guy called Chris Elliott. And we saw some work from him and we liked it, so we rang him and he was keen to do it. Of course, he had some difficult bosses because she's an interior architect and I'm an exterior architect, and then him.
So
But he added a hell of a lot to it, and it's really something special. No right angle in the house. And this is the architect's idea. And of course the bricklayers hated it, but it has the effect. It has a very special effect.
That the house moves. It's not a static house.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's constantly driving you crazy. It's just that it moves. It's got life.
The garden in general is minimalist.
Minimal. But we wanted little bits of everything. We wanted the courtyard, we wanted the little sort of pond here, the little bit of garden in the bathroom. That's what we felt is what we needed, rather than lawns and big expanses.
Now, the other thing is you actually, as well as having a home here, you operate a business from here.
I got a studio down on the street level, yeah.
And you make rather fun hats.
Yes, yes. I'm a milliner, or a hatter, as they say. Yeah.
Who do you serve? What sort of...
I do a lot of the fashion industry. I do Gay Waterhouse's hats.
Basically the
the
racing circle.
Racing circle.
What's this house like to live in?
Perfect. You live in this house. No, this functions. This works. This is, and just because it's big, it is cozy. It's a cozy house. I think the paintings make it work. I think that's what makes it really come alive.
So when you sell it, you're going to have to give the paintings
Well,
to
as
the
a
next
matter
person.
of fact, he said to me the other day, if I sell this one, which he's moved me 17 times in 25 years, I'd sell it as a whole. Paintings a lot. No.
I will start a special bank account.
Oh, please.
And
please.
I'll put my first $2 in the bank account tomorrow, and I'll start saving for the day that you get sick of it.
You do it, they have to go a long time.
Isn't that a spectacular house? And I've really got to say, having been there, that's a house that you could really live in very comfortably. Now, coming up after the break, Rosemary Stanton looks at healthy bones, and we will do that shady garden makeover.
Architecture in general is frozen music. Friedrich Wilhelm Joseph von Schelling, German philosopher.
On 60 Minutes,
He says, hug me, and I say, I can't, you're so fragile.
a compelling investigation.
The person that Dad was frightened of was Rose.
The final hours of Lang Hancock.
The person that Dad had to be protected from was Rose.
The evidence police ignore.
There are just too many unanswered questions.
And a daughter's fight for justice.
All she wants is money, money, money.
Also, Tom Jones, the ultimate pantsman. When Toyota presents 60 Minutes, Sunday on 9.
Hardware House, Australia's #1 home improvement centre, always gives you the best prices on the biggest range of tools, the best brands in paint, everything for the garden and outdoor, and much more for your home. Hardware House, always the best prices in town.
This is Natasha, chosen as the Dine food critic because of her highly developed sense of smell and impeccable taste. Before she approves any Dine recipe, she ensures that the ingredients are only of the highest quality, making all of Dine's extensive selection simply irresistible. Yes, there is no finer way to dine.
Take 37. Just show the deals.
Daewoo Lanos from only $14,000, including air conditioning, a gutsy 1.5-litre engine, and 3 years scheduled servicing. Daewoo dealers working like a dog.
David Jones is pleased to announce, for a limited time only, 2 years interest-free on all homewares, furniture, bedding and electrical goods.
There's no other store like David Jones.
For a limited time only.
I still remember getting my first candy from my grandfather. It was Werther's Original, and I was 4. I'll never forget that first taste. Sweet and creamy and just plain good. I felt I was really somebody special. Now, I am the grandfather. And what else would I give my little grandson but my Werther's original? He's somebody special, too.
When IXL decided to make a fruit spread made from nothing but delicious fruit, with no added cane sugar, the hardest part was giving it a name that said it all. 100% fruit. 100% IXL. Naturally.
Natasha, Dine's food critic, appraises Dine's new salmon and trout pâté to ensure that, as with all of Dine's extensive selection, it's made with only the finest ingredients. Yes, there is no finer way to dine.
So, what the new Lantra. Great. It has an engine. Yeah, I know. A 1.8 twin cam.
And a 2-litre model. And a sports wagon. Remote central locking. Handy.
Oh, yes.
Does it have power steering?
Oh, it has. Of course. And power mirrors, power windows, CD, air, and there's
a 5-year warranty.
You're a smooth talker, mate. We'll take it.
At $19,990 drive away, the new Hyundai Lantra sells itself.
Drake Norman, Yvonne Gurlagon-Corley, Rebecca Gibney, Paula Duncan, Bryce Courtney, Deborah Byrne. This is your life.
Returning August 19 on Channel 9.
Welcome back to Bourke's Backyard. Aren't these wattles gorgeous? Now, don't forget, the wattle, or at least one species, is Australia's floral emblem. This is Acacia fimbriata, and over there, Sydney golden wattle, Acacia longifolia. But there's so many wattles, and this little one here is only about 6 months old. Wattles grow so quickly, they give you an instant effect, particularly if you've got a bare block and you want to get some garden happening. Now, these two dogs are pretty healthy and well fed. Of course, with any animal, as their bones grow, it's very important. From August 8 to 14, it's National Healthy Bones Week. And in honour of that, and for just the very sensible reasons involved, Rosemary Stanton right now is looking at healthy bones.
When you're out in the garden, you're actually doing your bones a favour in 2 different ways. Firstly, the sunlight converts a substance in your skin into vitamin D, which you need for calcium to be absorbed into your bones. And secondly, physical activity itself helps strengthen your bones, especially if you're carrying things. Bones are meant to be dense enough to last a lifetime, but unfortunately, osteoporosis, which is a condition where the bones become quite spongy and break easily, is now becoming very common in Australia, mainly because we're living so much longer. 60% of women and almost 30% of men now develop osteoporotic bone changes by the age of 60. But if you're tempted to think you needn't worry about your bones until you get older, think again, because the foundations of bone strength are actually laid down while you're young. Other studies show that soybeans and the kind of fats that you get in fish and linseeds help bone density too. And it's important not to eat too much salt, because salt actually increases the amount of calcium that's lost from the body.
Them bones gonna walk around. Them bones gonna walk around.
Calcium is vitally important for strong bones, and the easiest way to get it is by having dairy products. But a lot of people have given up these valuable foods because they're worried about their fat. Well, you can get your calcium without the fat by having low-fat dairy products. If there's a genuine reason why you can't have dairy, you can also get calcium from soy drinks that have added calcium, or from fish, almonds and green vegetables, especially the Asian greens. Calcium's not the only nutrient that's important for bones. Some recent research shows that fruits and vegetables are very important too. It's not the vitamin C in them, as you might think. It seems to be the potassium and magnesium they contain. And in apples, it may even be the boron that's important. So to keep your bones strong, you need to get plenty of exercise, have some sun on your skin. Now, I don't mean sunbaking, just gardening will do. Get plenty of calcium in your diet, eat your fruit and veggies, have some soybeans or linseeds and some fish, and don't forget to go easy on the salt. I know it's a lot of things to remember, But they're all easy to do, and it is worth it. After all, your bones have to last you a lifetime.
There are 206 bones in the human body. The jawbone is the strongest, and the collarbone the most frequently broken.
This is one of the classic sort of backyard problems. You put a number of trees and shrubs and things in and look down at ground level here. Most of the stuff like this is dead because not enough light. And for that matter, there's weeds growing. It's a complete mess. What can you grow on the ground in a shady area? And this is rather moist, as you can probably see. It's a damp area. What's going to look good here and make it look at least like a garden instead of like half a desert? Well, there's a native plant that this is a stream lily. Comes from areas like northern New South Wales. You find it, for instance, at Terania Creek. And this has a most gorgeous sort of whitish, sometimes greyish, sometimes slightly pinkish flower, which is born for many months. This plant loves the shade, loves moisture. In fact, it's called the stream lily because guess where it grows? In streams. So this will grow in a fish pond or anything and flower really well in shady areas. But it's a plant nobody's heard of. You're going to find it very difficult to get. But what we're going to do now is put a whole bunch of these Helmholtzias or stream lilies into the ground here. First thing to do, of course, is to clean up. There's nothing terribly scientific about all this. This is called the put and look method. We've got 25 plants here. We're just putting them around roughly at metre spacings, maybe a little bit less. We've put them around. I think they look all right. This is a natural garden. By the way, if you're wondering about the noise in the background, it's a budgerigar aviary. And that's the last one there. So it's now just simply a matter of putting them in the ground. I should warn you, there are irrigation pipes in here. Always assume there's electricity, gas, irrigation or whatever. So when you dig, nice and gently, take your time. Anything's better than having to get the man out to fix the pipes. Take a plant out of a pot, hand like that, over that, tip it up, tap with the heel of the hand like that, pull the thing off, hand there, back here in the hole. Well, this is the one I've been looking for a while. This is the last one. So in it goes. You don't have to be terribly fussy when you put plants in. Push the soil back in the hole. Don't stomp on it or do an Indian war dance or whatever. Just leave it like that. Well, now we come to the easier stage. We're going to mulch. If you're wondering what those white grubs were, by the way, while I was putting in the mulch, they're white curl grubs. You probably saw Ralph and Penny eating them. Won't hurt the dogs, by the way. They're baby Christmas beetles. And they do chew away at gum trees and things, but by and large, I have a policy of live and let live. So as long as Ralph and Penny don't kill them all, it's okay. Well, this is always the best bit of any type of gardening, is watering the plants in. They always need a good water in. Now, to go back over it, this was a shady, moist area where nothing would grow. We've used an Australian native plant, a stream lily or Helmholtzia. Now, look, if it was a drier area, or indeed if you're not that keen on native plants, you could have used clivias. Now, clivias normally have orange flowers, but you can get them these days with creamy yellow flowers, or for that matter, you can get them with reddish flowers. They also have the strap leaves. So clivias, I suppose, if you're not into native plants, but if you want to try something a bit different, these have a glorious flower, silvery, creamy, sometimes pinkish. They love the shade and they love moisture. Brilliant in a fish pond in a shady spot. They'll flower really well with their roots in water as well. So, look, you're going to have trouble getting them. Most nurseries will never have heard of the stream lily or Helmholtzia, but if you can find a local native nursery that stocks them, these are really worth trying. Have you heard of Helleborus? They too are brilliant in the shade. They're not an Australian native plant. We've often looked at them on the program, but Peter Velder right now is looking at a variety which is quite uncommon.
From time to time we've had Helleborus on this program, but I don't think we've ever had this one. This is the Christmas rose, Helleborus niger. It's called Christmas rose because it flowers in the Northern Hemisphere at Christmas time, and you often see it on Christmas cards and things of that sort. The name Niger means black, which seems extraordinary when it has pure white flowers, but it refers to the colour of the roots, which are black. It's not as easy to grow as the other Helleborus. It requires cooler conditions, lots of organic matter and fairly damp conditions, but it's a very beautiful plant, flowering in the depths of winter. And like all the Helleborus, the flowers last for a very long time and gradually turn green and pinkish and things of that sort. So you get several months of enjoyment from it.
Coming up next, my own recipe for lamb curry.
The Roosters strut their stuff in a three-way tussle at the top of the table. The Broncos stampede continues. British boys prepare for the Northern invasion. Sydney City versus Brisbane. Friday night football on 9.
Hurry into Hardware House, Australia's #1 home improvement centre for the best prices in town. Grab these fiberglass garden hand tools, selected styles, only $1.99 each. Hardware House, always the best prices in town.
Your dream.
That spreadable spreads straight from the fridge.
Cut. You're breaking up. So what's on your bag?
If your communication equipment isn't communicating, come and see us at Dick Smith Electronics. We've got an incredible deal. It's the biggest of the year. With Telstra Mobile Net, we can provide you with free connection. You'll save $65. Plus, the rates have never been better, and the plans have never been cheaper. Only Dick Smith Electronics has Dick Smith kind of people. That's where you go.
This is what it feels like to have osteoarthritis. The pain can be excruciating and crippling.